Ms. Rita TWBI.
Mr. President, distinguished members of the Security Council, ladies and gentlemen, good morning to you all. My name is Rida Ahmed Al-Tubuli. I am honored and privileged to be speaking before you today. Thank you for the invitation, and thank you for giving this opportunity. I would like to stress that this privilege was not something that was granted to me by default. I believe I earned this opportunity after a lengthy struggle for my rights as a Libyan woman. My fight for my rights was first kick-started by my late father, who courageously resisted the social norms of the 80s Libya. He encouraged me to continue my education despite criticism he received from his peers at time, who were generally doubtful of the value of women's education. He always told me that the important thing is to be independent. Because of him, not only continued my education, but I went to become a university professor, holding a master and PhD in clinical pharmacology and LLM degree in international human rights law. In fact, the right to education was given to all Libyans in the Constitution 1951, and implementing the right of women to education enabled many girls who were even above the primary school age to attend school. I remember when I was 8 years old, I was sharing a desk with a girl who was double of my age, 16 years old at that time. The girl was only allowed to go to school by her parents only because the government at that time made the effort to encourage girls' education. This story is not about personal achievement or to talk history. This story is the perfect example to show that Libyans have the potential to progress toward women empowerment, gender equality, and all other aspects of life if decision makers do enough effort to facilitate and lead such progress. We all know that social changes are usually led by political changes. Unfortunately, Libya at this stage is going through unconventional political process. However, ordinary Libyans and Libyan decision makers are not the only actors in the political process. The international community, mainly and Libyan decision makers are not the only actors in the political process. International community, mainly the United Nations, can be considered as the main mediator of the current process. Being the director of Together We Build It and co-founder, Together We Build It organization, which was established in 2011, gave me the capacity to take part in the advocacy efforts and campaign advocacy for the role of women in formal peace process. We are often told by international decision makers that the reason women are excluded from the formal peace process because Libyan actors are against women's political participation. And if we want to ensure that Libyan women have a seat on the table, then we need to place an internal pressure on national decision makers. But the question that began answer here is, if there are no means of ordinary Libyans to take part in the political process, then how we will be able to change these things on the ground? Today, you might have expected me to speak only of women in Libya and the amazing work they are doing on the ground, and to finish my statement with delivering recommendations for how to support the Libyan women and their role in peace building. In fact, I want to talk about the power of people. I want to talk about the power of people, which Libyan women and youth constitute the majority. Since 2014, after the last parliamentarian election in Libya, ordinary citizens were completely excluded from the political process. Such an exclusion is not only the fault of Libyan actors, but it is also part of the responsibility of the United Nations, UNSML, and other international community actors who are leading and facilitating the current political process in Libya. Nevertheless, elections are not possible. Then the UNSML and international community must be creative and innovative. They must be creative and innovative on how to facilitate and lead a potential process that is inclusive for the general public of both genders. For example, after four years of exclusion, last year UNSML opened a political process or ordinary Libyan by conducting a national-wide consultation. If you will have a political conversation with a Libyan, ordinary Libyan on the street, their voices, you will hear them saying that their voices is not matter for international community. All is important is what the international community are saying or what they are doing for the Libya to help support and build peace in Libya. And when the international community talk to us and we reach them, they would say that the conflict in Libya is an internal issue. So Libyans should come together to build peace and to end this war. Well, we 100% agree, and we have been doing this. Women have been doing this. Young people have been doing this. But our efforts have not been taken seriously by the international community. With the name of preventive diplomacy, state building, peace building, and the international community supported troublemakers instead of peace builders. International community gave the power and legitimacy to violent minority instead of empowering a peaceful majority. Unfortunately, some members of the international community nowadays appear to be turning a blind eye by allowing a flood of weapons and ammunition to reach the hands of violent groups. Neville Chamberlain once said, "In war, whichever side may call itself the victor, there's no winner at all." And this is, of course, applies to the Libyan case. The numbers of injured and the count of death are rising every day, not just in the battlefield or the clash zone, but also on the political and peaceful activities front. Abduction and assassination have been rising ever since the Libyan civil war started. For example, the assassination of Ms. Salwa Abu Aygis and recently Siham Sergewa, who was abducted without a clue about her faith. In fact, the main loser in this conflict are the people who are excluded from the peace and political negotiation, who have no say on what their dream should be. The following is a recent post. The following is a recent post by a friend of mine, which she posted 2 days ago in her Facebook. Quotation: "It's been 8 months since I left my home. I miss every detail of my house so much. It hurts that we did not leave it voluntarily, but were rather forced to quickly escape an inevitable death. When the road to your home becomes deadly, you can no longer visit or see it except via online satellite maps. The latest satellite photo showed that our car had also been stolen. We have finally been morally and materially depleted." End of quote. This is so painful. If the UNSML and international community are serious about bringing peace to Libya, then you must listen to ordinary Libyans, empower and give legitimacy to people who don't place personal interest and political motivation as conditions for peace. The international community and UNSML, who are mandated to facilitate the peace-building process, must redesign the table. Here's why they must redesign the table. First of all, to redistribute power. Second, to redefine power. And third, to make power gender sensitive. And how to redesign the table to make it inclusive? This is a question actually being answered by you, Security Council, though adopting the Security Council Resolution 1325 and 2250 and the subsequent resolution. So this is your mandate, Security Council. Remember, when I was talking about the 1951 Constitution, when I was talking about girls' education, the government acted upon that. Libyan parents did not reject girls' education in the country. Many families send their daughters to school. So this is also applicable here. If Security Council implement 1325 and 2250, we don't think that Libyan will reject inclusion of women. Mr. President, the role of UN and international community is playing in Libya is not only important, but it is life-changing. I call on the Security Council to take the necessary decisions to stop flood of arms to Libya, and in return this will definitely stop the war, and to support the peace process and build stability in Libya. Libya has reached a situation where what you do and what you say and how you interact with national and local actors really matter. For us Libyans, working for peace building is not a choice, but for you it is. And today is the day where you need to make a choice. And the question is, are you going to make the right choice and support the peaceful majority of Libyans? Will you, as members of the international community, stand strongly together against any actor who supports violence in Libya? When you reach your decision, please remember people on the ground. Remember the Libyan families who left their homes. Remember the activists who continue to die. And also, we want the international community to make sure that Libya come back as it was in its golden age, when people were during the olden era, like supporting the progress of the country. Thank you very much.
I thank Ms. Al-TWBI for her briefing.